is a great conversation with Miss Dr. Marcia, a much needed conversation that we had to converse with each other and also with you, the audience. So today we have three bullet point topics, and the first one we want to share with you is how to motivate oneself in a challenging environment. This is a topic that we know globally right now it's a recession, and it will trickle down to other countries, which will be the less developed countries, and we have to know how to motivate oneself. Dr. Marcia, share with the audience today ways that someone could motivate themselves in this challenging environment we are facing.
All right. Good morning, and thanks for having me.
You're
Uh,
welcome.
Life is challenging, and I've been through so many challenges myself this year, and I've found that I had to dig deep inside of me to motivate myself. And one of the things that kept me going is that you have a intimate relationship with yourself. You know your weaknesses and you know your strengths. You know what you can manage and what you can't manage. So you know yourself to the extent where how do I deal with disappointment? How do I deal with my self-test? How do I deal with conflict? How do I deal with confrontation? You learn after a while how you deal with these things. And so you now minimize how you deal with these things and you reduce the triggers. So you first of all have to identify your triggers and then you reduce those triggers. And you do that by becoming very aware of self. You begin to map how you respond to these things and you avoid or you confront these things as they come with preconceived methods because you know yourself. The next thing that you need to do is that you have to have a relationship with God. You
Hmm.
have to know that your steps are ordered by God. He does not leave you alone. And whatever He brings you to, He will bring you through. So you have to have that trust and confidence in God. And you have to claim His promises. You have to say, God, you said you would do this. All right. The next thing that I use to motivate myself, which is very important and it's not a usual thing, is that I turn my thoughts into prayers. So
Hmm.
whatever defeating thought would come upon me, I turn it into a prayer. So I might be saying today, God, I'm not able to make it, but I turn that negative thought into a prayer that says, today is my day. God is
Mm-hmm.
with me. I can do it. So I turn that negative thought into a prayer. Or I might say, I am feeling so frustrated. I turn it into a prayer to say, Lord, you know that I have to get this done. Find the ways and show them to me. So instead of saying, I am frustrated, I confront the problem and I look for the solution in the problem and I claim and declare the solution. The
Hmm.
next thing that I do to motivate myself and would encourage people to do also is to write down self affirmations. So today,
Yeah.
I am not at my best, but I will do my best. So that conflicting thought creates a solution. So you face where you are. So today I'm not at my best, but I will do my best.
Hmm. I love that. And the triggers you mentioned is so important because sometimes we don't even acknowledge that we have that triggers that will make us so feel dumbfounded, and sometimes that triggers could impact someone negatively, someone who that we are speaking with, someone who that we love. And that is something that we have to embrace, because just as he's saying, you must embrace fear, right? You have to embrace your triggers and know how to work around it, because you will be affecting yourself and affect also your friend, your partner, your loved one. And in life, everything should be surrounded by God, which is so true. And I would say that I attest to that, because sometimes in life, we know that our day could be going to be a bad day because of certain things that we already know that the day going to bring. And in that instance, I always say, if you pray 5 to 10 minutes, pray 20, 30 minutes, because when you know that your day could be a negative day, you have to pray more so that you could remove those forces. Because people feel that we fight against flesh, but we fight against spirits and principalities in high places. So you really have to have God in your corner when it is that you really want to be successful, you want to be at peace, because money cannot buy peace. And time is something very valuable. So we
Very
must
valuable.
cherish our time wisely and with our loved ones, with our Creator, because in this life, we always feel that we need a spouse. We always feel that if it is that someone leaves our life, we cannot live happily. No, God is a spirit. We have to worship Him in spirit, and He is our friend. When we're looking to go for someone for advice, we could go directly to Him. He is saying why it is that you are going to this person who is flesh, who can't really assist you. And I, being the creator of all things, could assist you in any way possible. Come to me first, don't come to someone. So it just goes to show you that we always put our faith and trust in people when we're supposed to put our faith and trust in the Creator, which is the source.
And if you start your day with God, you attach your destiny to Him, and so you cannot fail. If you start your day with God, you attach your destiny to Him, and you cannot fail. What do I mean by that? There are things that God will take from us that was never ours in the end. He will shut doors throughout the day that are not doors that we are ready to enter. You
Hmm.
will not get any burden in life that you cannot bear. And so there are things that even if we call it upon ourselves, it will work out for our good once we attach ourselves to God. Once we attach our destiny to Him, we cannot fail. The next thing, too, that we want to use to motivate ourselves is that we are to be very particular about who we surround ourselves with throughout the day. Very particular. Some persons are negative, they are complainers by nature, and they are destiny delayers. They appear to be very good friends, very
Hmm.
supportive of what you're about. But when you look at their actions, they tend to say to you, "Are you sure that you can do that? I am not sure that can be done. Is that the right time?" And they might just be pushing you to take a little stock of yourself. However,
Hmm.
if you listen, you will learn. And if you learn, you will listen. And that's the reality. So you have to surround yourself with people that you can listen to learn, so that when you learn, you can listen and you can move and do what you need to do. And that's it. Start your day with God. I keep saying, attach your destiny to Him, and you cannot fail. Turn your thoughts into prayers. Surround yourself with persons who are on your destiny paths and not destiny delays. And become so aware of self that you recognize your triggers. Once you recognize your triggers, you are able to control them. And if you control them, you are right above your circumstances, standing on them all the time. They are not above you.
I love that. And the thing about it is that in this life, you have to wonder each and every day, who are you speaking with? Because who you are speaking with could impact your daily lives, especially if it is that person is trying to be a close friend, but really and truly, they only want the worst for you. So self reflect each day and ask yourself, who am I speaking to? Is those persons I'm speaking to are people who are really trying to motivate me to reach that pinnacle in life that I would want to achieve, or those persons are trying to pull me down into that negative zone that I do not want to be in? That is the questions that you want to ask yourself at the end of the day. I always tell myself, Dr. Marcia, self reflection at the end of the day is most important, because you want to know exactly what you did during the day, what are the good, what are the bad, and how can you improve on the next day going forward. And
The next
moving
thing
on.
that is very important too, that I don't want us to miss in motivating yourself, is that you must be able to laugh at your problems. Laugh
Hmm.
at ridiculously laugh. Are you for real? And just laugh. Are you for real? And keep laughing. Laugh hysterically. And so that will make it become solve every problem, a manageable thing, because laughter in itself is medicine. So when you laugh, you tell your mind that this too will pass. This is
Hmm.
manageable. I can do this. I will overcome this. And it turns you to the solution and not really focusing on the problem at hand. Laugh. Just give it a good laugh.
I love that. Yes, definitely. Laughing smooths the soul, and I think laughing also let go dopamine from our system, right?
Yes.
And yeah, and moving on to the second bullet point topic, how Caribbean people can grow exponentially in the social space, because we are seeing a lack of content creators in the Caribbean. We see that internationally, LinkedIn is the platform that most people utilize. Yes, you will see a lot of persons in the Caribbean that has LinkedIn accounts. However, the content is not there. They're not providing content on a consistent basis, and they're not seeing the need for providing content. Some people still stick in their old ways, thinking that LinkedIn is just a platform where it is that if you want a career opportunity, come on LinkedIn, or if you want to transition from one job opportunity to our next, come on LinkedIn. But LinkedIn has so much more to offer. And I think in the Caribbean, it's necessary for us to provide content on a consistent basis. What are your thoughts on that, Dr. Marcia?
One of the ways that I think we can do that to support each other in the social space is that we can network,
Mm-hmm.
network with each other. If you see me on Facebook or Twitter, you see, or LinkedIn or any other space that you find yourself moving with people, what I do is I talk to persons who I feel can meet my needs from the Caribbean. So I look at you and I evaluate what you have there. I follow you a little and then I see what are the services that you can provide and how can we share our services. One of the big deal about helping each other is that first thing that some of us think about is money. But
Mm-hmm.
we, just as a start of any relationship, you have to get to know each other and establish a position of trust. So one of the ways that we need to do is to provide a free consultation or a service, a free service that someone can get to know you and can sell you, because it's really not your advertisements that sell you, it's not your profile so much that sells you, but it is me saying to someone, I have tried and it has worked for me. I think these are very good skills and this is what is amazing, or what resonated with me when I related to so and so. We have to get into that space where we share with each other first of all and get to know and trust each other. The next thing is we need to network also to have fun on
Mm-hmm.
social media. Let's have fun. Let's look at it to say, first of all, I want to share my skills in a space, reasonable space where persons can access and advertise myself in a way that persons get to know me and trust me and pass my service on, because each one must teach one, help one, and tell
Mm-hmm.
one so that we all can grow. The next thing is that I want to have fun. So I must be able to put things out there with someone else to have fun. The next thing, just like this, we can collaborate with our
Mm-hmm.
skills and strategies and techniques. We can do that, build a foundation and to build a strong tower of connectivity and a strong tower of concern and a strong tower of criticism. Because if we are able to constructively guide each other to say, I benefit from this, we can also share. I would want you to have explored more on this. So after a program like this, we might want to explore something. So we talk about it. We would love if you could do these topics for us so we can benefit. So collaboration, sharing, promoting each other, trusting, connecting are some of the things, ways in which we can really grow on social media. Inform. So there are some persons who need information. How can I get a good SEO, a good business coach, and so on? Persons must be able to share those information because that is marketing. that is sales, that is strategy, that is connectivity, that is growth, that is productivity. Because when we
Hmm.
all combine our skills, we become an unbeatable force. And so that's one of the next thing we give information. The next thing is that we should try to entertain. Use the social media to promote our programs, promote our ads, promote our events, and so on. And Caribbean people can support each other by attending these events, by responding to these ads. And when content is also posted, give advice, give comments, explore and expand what it is that the topics that you have. Send private messages, do all of that to create, follow you on the different things to see how the needs can be fitted and how you can collaborate to make our offerings as Caribbean people viable and sustainable and resilient in nature. Because Caribbean people have one thing in common: we are all people with cultures, creativity, and with talent. That is what we have in common. We are talented, we are creative, and we are very much have rich cultures that are so different but are so familiar. And so we need to get those things out there, and we need to sell ourselves in those positive ways through support, collaboration, sharing, each one telling each one, and through following each other.
Yes, Dr. Marcia, some really helpful tips there. Caribbean people growing exponentially in social media, it's something that I would say unity is most important. Without unity of the people, we don't have anything. And we have so much natural resources in the Caribbean, so much talented people in the Caribbean, so much educated people in the Caribbean that I think that our downfall is that we don't have that unity that we supposed to have. With unity, you can climb mountains, you can overcome hurdles that you never thought that would be possible to overcome. And I think that in the Caribbean, when we think about the accolades that people have behind the name, they could use that in the digital space. I think that some people not realizing the potential of digital, but like for myself, who I'm in sales, I'm seeing that you can sell virtually. You don't necessarily need to go each and every day to prospect to customers. You could sell virtually, you could set up meetings, go to the meeting, present yourself in a professional manner, and opportunities will come your way. I think that the digital space is a game changer for persons who may not have the capital but who have the willpower to want to do better. They can become creators that they never thought even possible. When we think as in terms of like YouTube and these social media platforms, how much they pay when it is that you get a certain number of views. You can do it, I can do it. It's just that we have to believe in ourselves and we have to be creative. Structure brings creativity. Just for example, we have three bullet point topics today, Dr. Marcia and myself. The first topic we delve into was how to motivate yourself in a challenging environment. The second topic that we're speaking about presently is how Caribbean people can grow exponentially in the social space. And now I'm going to the third topic,
Before we
which
go
would.
there, though, I
Mhm.
want us to bear in mind and never let it leave our minds that digital marketing is making a steady march towards expanding more and more into the virtual space. We cannot ignore it. We cannot turn a blind eye. We have to position ourselves and learn the skills that will take us full force militantly into this market, because we will not be turning back. We will not be reversing to the different
No,
that we have been using. We will not be. We will be steadily going forward. And the more and more creative in the digital world, more and more we will have to be using the virtual space. And if anything at all, we will have to combine it and combine our services with the digital space. We have to pair. We have to become very intimate partners, or else we are going to be left behind. And those are some of the ways that the Caribbean people can help each other. Look at what we have and look at how we can position what we have to serve us and to make us more visible, to make us more productive, and to make us more resilient in the market. Let us refresh our brand of how we think, our thought brand, so we fit in and we are not left out.
Yes, I love that. And I think what is the biggest problem is that we not adapting to change. Change is inevitable. And if it is that you cannot adapt to change, you cannot go forward. And that is something that we have to keep in the back of our minds. And when we going forward, know that if a company changes, if it is that the market change, we have to change also because it's much needed in order to reach that point in life that we want to reach. It's possible the means of production, land, labor, capital, that has changed. The means of production right now is not land, labor, capital. It's land, technology, and labor, because at the end of the day you don't need the capital because technology come and take over that,
Not
so
so.
you don't need that necessary large sum of money to start a business. Once it is that you have all the technological tools to utilize, you can grow a business in a big way in a short possible time. We're seeing that with so many Silicon Valley companies in California where they did not invest so much in terms of expenditure, but it's more in terms of the technological space. They hire people from all over the world to work remotely. You have to have a mobile phone, laptop, a good Wi-Fi connection, and you are working for the company producing high revenue, and the overhead is not much because you don't need that physical space to pay for rent or to pay for a mortgage. So that's the great thing about technology going forward. So Dr. Marcia would like to delve into the third subtopic, which is basically how does someone become a leader? What are the traits? We always say in this term, leaders, leaders. Are the politician leaders? Are the government official leaders? Are, content creators? Are they leaders? Who are leaders in society?
My personal definition of a leader is that you become a leader when you stand out. Leaders stand out. And some leaders stand out by default. You did not position yourself to be a leader, but your circumstances and how you maneuvered them and how you overcame them made you become a leader. And so leaders by themselves stand out. Leaders by themselves serve. So some persons become leaders because of the service that you give. Your idea was never to stand and point fingers and delegate. You are a servant. A servant, and because you became a servant, you became a leader. Persons depended on you, looked to you, relied on you, and accepted you because you became a prominent, outstanding person in your space from
Mhm,
giving service. So, first of all, your circumstances position you as a leader, and the service that you give, and all of those make you become an automatic leader. You do not wear the label. You never stamped it. You never stroked it. You never said to anyone, I am a leader. By virtue of your actions, by virtue of your service, by virtue of your mindset, you became a leader. Now, there are certain traits that these people who become leaders have, or who are becoming leaders because that's part of their purpose. It's tied into their destiny, have. And one of this is vision. Leaders have vision. And so wherever you are in your organization, you can stand out as a leader by the fact that you have vision. Vision means that you see things before they happen and you see things that other people cannot see. And it might be a simple thing, as
mhm,
simple as changing that particular door or making it swing another way because you observe that how it swings open, it poses a danger to someone entering the room. So you simply say, we need to change the direction of that door. Let it
mhm.
swing inward because it will help much better. And so those simple things is a vigil. Then the next thing is you leaders inspire themselves so they can inspire others. What do I mean? Inspiring yourself means that you have a heart to listen. Listening to yourself means that you recognize those traits in you that are not working for you or anyone else, and you make a change. Listening means that you hear what other persons are saying, even though they do not say it.
Hmm.
So you hear what they're saying without them saying. And that in itself inspires you to inspire them because you're able to meet their needs and you're able to reach and position them at a point of transformation, of empowerment, and of support. And that can be lacking. There are many persons who give support and who empower and who transform, who are not sitting in the position of leaders. And so, by virtue of that, they become leaders because persons go to them when they need certain things because they are inspired by that one little touch of compassion or empathy or the skill sets that they use to help them to solve their problems. And then we want to look at resilience. Persons become leaders when they live to tell the story. So they are able to overcome challenges, trauma, all sorts of things. And they now become very proficient in that area because they are overcomers. And so persons, they are able to meet persons in unusual ways because if you have not experienced it, you speak from a theoretical point of view. But when
Mm-hmm.
you're able to say, I did that, I never knew how I would overcome that. You can overcome. Believe me, I know because I have been there, done that. Persons understand that resilience is not an event, it is a process. You become more and more resilient as you become more and more an overcomer. There
Hmm.
is no one that learns to swim on land. If you know of anyone, you can tell me. But I don't know of anyone who learns to swim on land. They have to go into the water. And so that's part of it. In becoming a leader, you have to learn to swim in the water. You cannot stay on the land. You have to make the step and make the move. The next thing about leaders is that they are very persons who are very strategic and critical in their thinking and in problem solving are leaders. They become leaders and they stand out. You notice I started with leaders stand out. You just
Yes.
stand out. And so you are very strategic and you think critically. Nothing is just simple for you. You always see out of the box. You are always able to predict. And then leaders are personally accountable people. So they take responsibility for their actions and they understand that they are human beings. They are not robots. They are not static. They are dynamic. And so they can make mistakes and they acknowledge their mistakes and they take steps to solve and to correct their mistakes. And that makes you become a leader when regardless of the level you are in any organization, that in itself makes you stand out because a lot of persons are afraid to admit their mistakes because they fear the repercussions if they admit
Yes.
mistakes. And the next thing that I want to say is that leaders have an interpersonal communication. I did not say leaders are friendly. I say they
Mm-hmm.
have an interpersonal communication. They are able to get persons to do what they should do in a very comfortable way and at their own pace and in a timely manner to accomplish the goals of any organization, whether it is your home, whether it is in business, whether it is the person who washes your car, and so on. Some of us have the knack of just motivating the worst persons to become the best persons in life. And we do it because we are able to empathize with people and we're able to share whatever they are going through. And they know that we care because we show them that we care. And open-mindedness and creativity is one of the greatest tools for becoming a leader. You have to be able to adapt very mindfully to
Mm-hmm.
changes If you do not change, then change will change you and leave you right there. Change will just discard you. You
Yeah.
become dispensable when you do not change. You have to learn to change. Persons who are very good and very adept at adapting to change become very good leaders, and they are very needed right now. The final thing that I would say about becoming a leader is that you're very flexible, very flexible.
Hmm.
Flexibility is the key right now on becoming and maintaining your place as a leader. You have to be flexible because life changes at the wink of an eye, at just the clip of your finger. Things that were normal for you and were acceptable and were always available are no longer available. And these things, even if they're available, they are no longer useful. And so you have to be flexible in even using what you have and maneuvering it to serve your purpose. Because some of these things you cannot discard either, but you can use them. You can format them, you can rebrand them, you can do all sorts of things with them so that they work for you. And becoming a leader, you have to be technologically savvy in these times.
In
You
these
have to
times,
be
yeah.
the digital space, the virtual space, the online space, because that is where we are all headed. Once you do that, you become dependable and you remain outstanding and you remain an authority in your space as a leader.
And that is some great tips that you shared here, Dr. Marcia, in terms of becoming a leader and the traits of a true leader. And I would like to say that in organizations, we see persons who try to become a leader, but because of how the operations being done at the organization, they are being deprived of becoming a leader because the company maybe want the leader to operate in a certain manner, and that leader is not looking good in terms of the subordinates because that is not their true self. And a lot of companies that are happening because they have the managers with the management team, so that the subordinates, they are by themselves, because when the managers and the subordinates together, it cause a problem for management. And that is something that is happening in many companies. But what I would say is that I know it might be disheartening to know, but what the managers who want to become true leaders have to do is stand their grounds, and it may be something that could be detrimental to them in terms of their job security. But if it is that we want to be a true leader, some company will see the need for your services and they will value that. And don't never don't ever think that you have to really put your eggs in one basket, because opportunities are there in abundance. And for those people who in positions who really want to become leaders and being deprived of becoming a leader, don't feel that you cannot do it. Sometimes a leap of faith is what it is that you need to get the job done. And that's my
Yes,
message. And I would say
because
thank you. Mhm.
the thing about leadership is that you have to lead yourself. You have to first lead yourself, know
Mhm.
what is good for you and what is best for you, and lead yourself. You cannot lead others if you cannot lead yourself.
Hmm, powerful. And Dr. Marcia, I must say this conversation was very nice. It was a much needed discussion. Everyone, thank you very much for tuning in. Happy Black Friday. Don't try to go out there for those Black Friday sale and get stamped on, because I know people are just looking out for those sales and they're just moving very quickly. And for those who watching on the replay, just type hashtag team replay so that we know it's you on the replay. And do have a great rest of the day. Be productive, safe, and enjoy the weekend ahead of you. Thank you.
Thank you too.